Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Laura. I thought it would be fun to start this channel off with the BookTube Newbie Tag, which is a series of 11 questions that will help you get to know a little bit about me and my reading tastes and things that you can expect from this channel. I've seen this tagged on several other BookTube channels. I'm not sure who originated this. I couldn't really figure that part of it out, but I will leave all the questions in the description box down below for you in case you are somebody who is also new to BookTube and want to answer these questions as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. First question is, why did you start this channel? When I was younger, I loved to read when I was in like elementary school age, but as I got older, I just made less and less time for reading until 2022. At the end of 2022, I found this cozy little Christmas book in a bookstore. I just remember loving the look of the cover and thought, you know, why not? I'll pick up a book and try to read it around this Christmas season. I think it was called 25 Days Until Christmas. It was a cute little book. I ended up only giving it like a 3.5 star. Nothing really wrong with it, but for some reason it was just a cute and cozy little story, and it reignited my love for reading again. And so I got a library card for the first time since I've lived in the area that I live in now, and I made a goal to read 23 books in 2023, and I am happy to say that I surpassed that goal. I'm finishing up 2 books right now at the very end of 2023, and when I finish those, I will have read 42 books in 2023. So I'm really proud of that for being like back into reading for the first time in a really long time. And I have always loved YouTube. I just did not know that BookTube was even a thing that existed until 2023. I've always loved doing YouTube videos. I have another channel called Show Me an Adventure that I've been doing for several years now. We do travel vlogs, date night vlogs, little fun family challenges, gift idea vlogs, things that I get my kids for the holidays and stuff like that. So just kind of like a hodgepodge of whatever I feel like creatively filming and editing and posting videos over there. But I really wanted to have a space here on this channel just to talk about all the bookish things, being able to talk about books, and so this channel was born. Question number 2 is, what are some fun and unique things that you can bring to BookTube? Like I said, we have the other channel called Show Me an Adventure, and if you've watched any of those videos, first of all, thank you for coming over to this channel as well. But you would know that I love a good challenge and I love trying new things. So I think that some fun reading challenges, pushing myself to try new genres. I also think my age kind of brings a unique perspective itself. Like, I think that the books that I enjoyed when I was younger in my 20s and early 30s are not necessarily the same type of vibe that I'm going for, and it's not like that age group, the older millennials. I haven't found a lot of booktubers in this generation, and so I think adding to that space is something that I'm really interested in doing. I really want this to be a channel too that just listens to the viewers, and you know, where we can build a very close-knit, lighthearted community of readers. If that's something that you're interested in, then subscribe and stick around. Question 3 is, what are you most excited about for this new channel? For me, this kind of goes with the last answer, is that I'm just looking forward to building a community specifically for a place where we can talk about books and reading and all the bookish things. Other than my mom and a few friends that I've found on Facebook that really like reading, I don't have a lot of people in my real world life that I can talk to about books, so I'm super excited to be able to bounce things off of you guys and hear your thoughts on some of the books that I'm reading. You know how it is when you finish reading a book and you're like, oh my gosh, I have so many thoughts, so many things I want to say, and then you just feel like, who am I going to talk to about this? My husband is a non-reader, so although he and I are really close, we don't really like talk about books much. So I just thought that this would be a great space, a great outlet for me. And like I said, I really want this to be a place where we can like openly discuss things and I can learn from you guys as well. Question number 4 is, why do you love reading? For me, the creativity and talent of the author is usually what I really enjoy about reading, especially for fiction. There's just something about when an author is successful at making me feel like I am there in a specific space, especially if it's somewhere that I've never been to in person, or a world that doesn't even really exist, but I feel as if it exists. They're able to transport me there. That is what I really love, when an author is able to do that, or when they're really able to connect me with the characters, have me caring so deeply about these people that do not exist. If an author is able to move me to tears, it's a pretty good indication that I'm going to give it a 5-star rating. Question number 5 is, what book or series got you into reading? The Babysitter's Club and the Goosebumps series are the 2 series that I know when I was in elementary school, I read every single book in those 2 series. I couldn't get enough of those. Obviously, I grew up in the 90s, but also I loved Laura Ingalls Wilder and The Little House on the Prairie. Funny enough, I was named after Laura Ingalls Wilder, and what my mom didn't know or didn't expect, I think, was that I would grow up to actually look a lot like Melissa Gilbert, who played Laura Ingalls in The Little House on the Prairie. So I got a lot of comments as well when I was younger, like, did you know that you look like Laura Ingalls Wilder in Little House on the Prairie, or did you know that you look like the actress Melissa Gilbert? And so I got a lot of those comments when I was a kid, and I think maybe that added to my love for Laura Ingalls and her books. So the Little House series is another childhood favorites of mine. The next question is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? First of all, how do you manage your time? I'm trying to read all the books, do the filming, do the editing. I know for a fact that it's very time consuming, especially the editing process. That can take forever. That's one major question, but also just on the more like fun side of the YouTube world, what type of like reading vlogs or what type of books do you enjoy filming and editing the most? I have some ideas about like reading vlogs and challenges and different series that I could do for this channel. In fact, one of my first videos that I have planned for this channel is like 20-ish different like reading vlog or reading challenge type of ideas to see what you would be interested in watching the most. But I think that would be one of the top questions I would want to ask some of my favorite like bigger booktubers in their expert opinion and their own personal taste. What are their favorites and the most fun to film? The next question is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? I am kind of a slow reader, to be honest. I tend to read at a slower pace, I think because I really like to analyze every single word that I'm reading. I have a tendency to overanalyze books sometimes. That being said, I do have a full-time job. We have 5 children. We live on a farm, so we are pretty busy. And so just making sure that I, have a good balance, and that's going to be probably the hardest thing for me, is the fact that I do sometimes tend to read a little slower. I don't know, like I said, I just overthink things, but I don't tend to do that when I'm listening to it in audiobook. When I'm listening to an audiobook, I can just kind of focus more on the characters and the plot and the things that are happening, and I'm not as worried about writing style and overanalyzing every little thing. So I think that's definitely going to be the key to being able to make sure I have lots of books that I read and lots of content to talk about for you guys. Question number 8 is, when did you start reading? I kind of already answered this one, I think. I really loved reading when I was a child. We're talking like elementary school, middle school, and high school, and some of my college years, like my early college years, I read less, unless it was the books that I had to read. My bachelor's degree is in English, so I did read quite a bit of like forced reading. And then like towards the later end of college, I started reading some authors for fun, like Sophie Kinsella and Lee Child series, like the Jack Reacher series. And then I really had like a long span, we're talking like decades of barely reading anything at all until, like I said, last year. Question number 9 is, where do you read? I mostly read right here. In my bed. That's my favorite spot to be if we're at home. If it's nice outside, we do have like a nice little chair that I'll sit in outside on the porch and read sometimes. But I also like to listen to audiobooks when I'm cleaning or showering or getting ready for the day, when I'm driving, especially if I'm driving by myself. And I always take a book with me everywhere I go. That's one way that I have found that really helps me read more, is if I just always have a book with me to be able to read. Question number 10 is, what what kind of books do you like to read? My favorite genres are probably historical fiction and mystery thriller, but my next video on this channel is going to be my 2023 reading recap. And I noticed when I was looking at all the books that I gave 5 stars to in 2023, spoiler alert, there were, I believe, 8 of them, and they were all different genres: classics, horror, poetry, mysteries, science fiction, a couple memoirs. So I really don't have, like, you know, any genres that I won't read from at all. I'm pretty open-minded when it comes to that. If the book sounds interesting, I'll read it. Now, I will say that fantasy and romance have been the hardest for me to kind of get into. I'm still trying to find like what my sweet spot is. I think I want to try some cozy fantasy books this year. Fantasy is like my sister's absolute favorite genre, so maybe I'll take some book recommendations from her. That might be a fun little like sister reading vlog challenge. And then for romance novels, I think the sweet spot for me has been like listening to them on audiobook instead of trying to read them in the physical form, and also trying to determine my favorite tropes when it comes to romance books. I think I really like the like enemies to lovers and the fake dating where there's that like tension built with the characters. I really like that, and I'm not super into like the really like smut stuff. If like the only thing, you know, selling the book is the sex, it's probably not gonna be for me. But other than that, I'm really open-minded. So if you have a favorite book that you would like to see me read and talk about this year, leave it in the comments down below. The last question is, what does your book collection look like? I don't have much of a book collection. It's like right behind me, just this small little stack about that big right there on my nightstand. We live in a very old farmhouse, and when I say farmhouse, I don't mean like the popular style of decorating your home. I mean like an actual house on a farm. It's really old and really small, and we live with 7 people, myself, my husband, and our 5 children. And so we really just don't have the space for like those big, beautiful bookshelves. And I'm also finding that the older I get, like the more I try to be minimal about the things that I bring into our home. So I read a lot of books from the library, and I use Hoopla to listen to a lot of the audiobooks. I won several giveaways, so I do have some books in my collection that I won from like giveaways from library challenges and other booktubers that were giving things away. And I also like to support my friends who are authors. I have 3 books that were written by people that I actually know, and so those books I have in my collection as well. But other than that, if I do end up buying a book, I will probably be like letting somebody borrow it after I'm done reading it, or donating it once I'm done. That's not to say that a book haul will never happen on this channel, just maybe a little bit less, and you probably won't see the beautiful like bookshelves in the background of my videos. That is it for the questions for this BookTube Newbie Tag. I hope it helps you to get to know me a little bit more, and now I can't wait to get to know you. Let me know what are some of your favorite genres if you're watching this video. Let me know the type of videos that you would love to see on this channel. Like I said, I really want this to be a good like back and forth type of community where we have a safe, open space to talk about the books that we love, and maybe sometimes the books that we don't love. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.